Good morning. How do we play this out? I don't like this new system that they have here. Let's see. Good morning. I can't see you yet, so you have to forgive me. Just bear with me for a moment. I just have to invite others in. And is that post public by any chance? Let's see. Good morning. How are you? I normally play my music, but they've been reporting me a lot lately and taking me off live chat. So I stopped playing music. I play the music before it's time to go on, because that way I know the winchies, we no one agree. They will hopefully leave me alone. How are you guys today? It's I think today is Tuesday, isn't it? I am just trying to hand select, which is not a great idea really, but I tend to hand select my people these days. I've been told to just bring in everybody. So I'm clicking away like crazy until it stops allowing me to click. I will continue to click. And feel free to share the video while we're doing this, because, you know, this is a topic that we hardly talk about in our community. And in every family, Onyibo family that I have lived in, that's like one of the first things that they lay out is boundaries. Boundaries. One of the first things they lay out is boundaries. Good morning again, and I can't see you yet. So if you're saying hello and I'm not answering you, it's not my fault. Damn, they're allowing me to bring in a lot of people this time. Why is that? Oh, wow. All right, so my arms are tired. That's what happens when you're trying to build amazing shoulders. Okay, I think that's more than enough people. You guys share the video for me and do half of the work so I don't have to worry so much. Good morning, and it's breakfast with emojis. My eyes are swollen this morning. I think it's pollen. It's the allergy season. How are you? Olufaloye, yo. Akata Buruku. Fake Nigerian saying he's humble. You know how it is. Anyways, good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Moji. And I am not a newscaster like Olufaloye is. I just have fun. So, my name is Mojisola Percy. This is Breakfast with Moji on Moji's World. And I speak truth. I speak power into truth with a very unique voice and a gap in my tooth. What can I tell you? Busola, yes, it's raining here as well. You see, my hair got big because I went out this morning. Busola, good morning. Oh, you're a new person on this thread. That's wonderful. So, anyways, this morning I was, you know, I'm always reading and my brain's always working. I don't know. I have one of those brains that's always working. And as I was doing my normal meditation, the thought jumped into my head. Boundaries. Somebody else had mentioned it to me yesterday. Because she said to me, she goes, Moji, you know, everybody in your life kind of they just do anything and everything. Hi sis, how are you? So, and I said, what do you mean? And she goes, you have no boundaries. And I said, what do you mean boundaries? You know, we're all friends. You know, we're family and whatever we are. And I said, and then I started to think about it. This morning I woke up with the same exact thought in my head, boundaries. But it didn't come to me as boundaries. It was labeled boundaries later down the line. It came to me as defining. Good morning, Margaret. Princess Mokwelola, good to see you. It came to me as defining the roles of people in our lives. Do you guys ever think about that? Because normally we don't. We Africans, we just assume everybody's our friends. You know, we go to work. In an Onyibo family, everybody knows who they are. They know what roles they play. They know who, you know, what to cross and not to cross. I started to look at my life and I said, you know what? Let's take real estate, for instance. My real estate clients always end up being family. They always end up being friends. Then I started to make excuses because, you know, we always make excuses. We make excuses for everything that we do because the reason we continue to make excuses is because we're not really ready, are we, to face the truth. So I said, okay, let's see how this is going to play out today. Boundaries. And then the more I thought about it, about the word boundary, the more I realized that a lot of us don't have boundaries. Isn't that scary, Princess Mokwelola? We don't have boundaries. We have, even in friendship, yeah? When you think about it, as your friend, we have different stages and levels of friends, right? So as your friend, I come into your home, I give you advice. I wouldn't go to a plumber to give me advice on my brain if I have a headache. Yeah, we do it with everybody else. It's crazy, isn't it? We do it with everybody else. And then we wonder why things don't work out a lot. Why do things not work out a lot? Because we don't have boundaries. A lot of us don't have we don't stand firm in our beliefs. We allow ourselves to we flip-flop a lot. Yeah, we have no boundaries. Busola Grillo she just nailed it. We have no boundaries. Your mother-in-law comes into your house, she takes over your house, she takes over your kitchen. She starts to tell you what to do or how to do in your own house. No boundaries. Because somebody is older than you, because Moji is older than BC Alini is on the line. Good morning, BC. And BC Alini is somebody I respect a lot. He comes up because I'm older and almost half of a century. All of a sudden, because I'm older, I'm assumed to be smarter. And that's not always true. There has to be boundaries. We have to start to create boundaries. In Africa, we're not taught to create boundaries. We're taught to respect people in spite of their intelligence. We're taught to respect people in spite of who they are to us in our lives. We're taught to accept people's ideologies and ideas. Thank you, Sheila. We're taught to respect people's ideas and ideologies because they're just that way. The pastors, because they stand on the pews, which is assumed they have a right to every inch of our life and our family life. So we tell them our dirty little secrets. That's why they can tell us not to have sex in any other position but missionary position. Which one concerns them in my bedroom? Have you ever thought about that? What concerns a pastor about what I do in my bedroom? Zero. What gives? Miriam, good morning, darling. Yes, thank you for the definition. Boundaries are guidelines, rules, or limits that a person creates to identify reasonable, safe, and permissible ways for other people to behave towards them. This is why I tend to say, look, when I get jacked up or when I do something retarded, I always say, look, it's my fault. Because if I had given people boundaries, they would know where to cross or not to cross. You have somebody that works for you, for instance. Take the layman excuse. You go to work, you have somebody that works for you. You know your secretary is not supposed to know what you do in your bedroom, so they don't disrespect you. You know your business, the guy that you're doing business with, or the client that I'm selling a house, I'm not going to tell him about my sexual jokes. That's considered sexual harassment. So we create a boundary for all those people outside, at the workplace. See, people like me, because I'm a realtor and I don't consider my job a real job, which I consider it having fun. And when I get upset, I often say, oh, I'm getting a real job. But what I do is a real job. I'm a doctor of homes. Yeah, I don't sell houses. What I sell is myself, my personality. What I sell is my expertise in the business. What I sell is guidance, consultation, marketing. I don't sell houses. See, defining what we want and need from each step is so very important. And then creating boundaries. When you're driving on the street, on the main road, there's a fine line. If you live in America, you already know if there's a solid line, you can't cross it. Right? If there's a solid line, you are not to cross it. If there's no solid line and it's there's a line that breaks, you're allowed to cross at that point. Right? Now, if there are, what's the other one? If there's those big square things in the middle of the aisle, you know, if you go past that line, you're getting a ticket. Why don't we apply that into our lives? Why don't we do that? When we have friends and they're called friends, they just assume in the African community they can stop by your house anytime they feel like it. My cousins used to come visit and they'll say we're spending the weekend and they'll stay for 6 months. A year, Seth. Would eat, not clean, not do anything like they're in a bloody hotel. Boundaries. Boundaries. When you have desire to be successful in business, in a relationship, good morning, Yemi, we have to create boundaries. Everybody has to know what roles they play in our business life as well as our personal lives. And sometimes the lines might be blurry, but if we are focused on having a successful relationship and or a successful business, everybody that we have in our life must know what boundaries not to cross. What do I mean by that? Good morning, Buki. Good morning, Jennifer. What do I mean by that? All right? What do I mean by that? We have to have clear visions. You start dating somebody today. Oh, boy, you're cute. Oh, baby, you're honey bunch. You're handsome. You're absolutely stunning. Oh, I want to get your sushi. Before you get to the table, Sam, you need to know what you see in that person. You need to understand, is this person somebody I want to spend more time with? It's like a job interview. You don't go from hello to, oh, let's get, well, some of us do. You don't go from hello to, let's get married and all that stuff, you know? But you talk to the person. While you're having conversation with a date, it's a job interview. When a lot of us go out on dates, we lose this and we start working with that. And because we're not having this, and that connect, we lose a sense of being. Before you even start to date, you should know what you're looking for. You should know where you're going. You should know who you are. Once you create that, then you have to create boundaries. Once you pick that person that you want to be with, now your family has to understand, this is my husband or husband, HERSBAND for the lesbians, and husbands for the gay guys. This is the person I want to be with. And once you decide, now you have to decide if you're going to put that person on a throne, on a chair, on a stool, or the floor. For you guys that don't understand my stool accent, a stool is like a little bench. Google the word, you get it. Because I don't mean the caca. You have to decide where you're putting that person. Are you putting that person on a throne? Are you putting that person on a chair? Are you putting them on a stool? Or are you putting them on the floor? Wherever you decide to put them, now you have to create boundaries. Boundaries. Apoti or shuku for you, my sister Busola Grillo. Don't come. Shuku for you. Shuku for you too, Simisola Jabiri. You have to create boundaries around those people that you claim to love. You have to create boundaries and allow and let your families know, this is my partner. This is my lover. This is... And the first time they try and overstep that thing, cut it. You gotta cut it. Your price is way too high. You gotta cut it. My son hates it when I sing that song. But seriously, you have to. You have to check people at go, at hello. You do not let a seed germinate because it might grow into a goddamn oak tree where you have no longer control of your life. Africans in general, we tend to do that. Oyinbo, they don't play that shit though, and those are the people I grew up with. You think I learned. Africans, we allow, African Americans as well sometimes, we allow our families, our friends to come and take over our relationships. We allow our family and friends to tell us who's who when we know who's who to us. See, your choice is what really matters, not what their choice is. Understanding what you want is the most important thing in the world. You have to define who you are and who you are with and what they are to yours. If I call my girlfriend, fiance, my queen, right? Why would I allow people to treat her like toilet paper? Or like the slave? Or like the eru? Or the housekeeper? Boundaries. Even in your immediate relationship, when you think about it. Who's on the line? Buki is a very dear friend of mine that I talk to on the inbox, and sometimes we call each other and stuff like that. But there's certain places that she can't go into in my life. She already knows that. And she respects me for that. In the past, I would let people come in and they would just... It's like a dog. I just got a brand new dog. My brand new dog, I'm creating boundaries. I put wee-wee pads. You know those white wee-wee pads? This is where you can pee, or you pee on my floor. I'll stick your nose inside and say, bad boy. A lot of things that I'm saying, I talk to you guys about, I told you, you're going on a journey of growth with me. So if we all grow together, hopefully we can raise the next better generation. When I look at the dog, when I look at Chase, yeah? Chase peed in my kitchen yesterday. I grabbed him by the neck and put his nose inside the pee and said, don't do that again, bad boy. 30 minutes later, when it was time to pee, he went and peed on the wee-wee pad because I checked him. A lot of times we allow people to get away with stuff that they do because we don't want to hurt their feelings. We don't talk about things because we don't want them to think we're snobs. We don't want them to think, but yet the relationship starts to go sour because there's no boundaries. Yes, boundaries. Boundaries is why your pastor can tell you, Moji, you can't do this, you can't go here, you can't go there. Which one concerns you? See, we take our dirty laundry and we open our doors to our nyash. And then we wonder why people are doing cray-cray. Seriously. Most of us desire relationships. We want good relationships, right? I know I do. 52, half of a century, about time. I made enough mistakes, right? To understand the concept. Boundaries. If I desire a relationship to work, if I in my utmost heart know that I want to be with a person, I have children, I have work, I have this, I have assistants, I have that and that and that. Everybody has to know their position. Unless my lover or partner is my business associate, unless I ask you to put nose in my business, it shouldn't happen. Unless I go to you and ask you for what to do, how to do, when to do, usually those two should be separated. And even if it's not going to be separated, they should be able to bring me the concept as in, how about, not this is what you should do, that's what you should do. And you understand the concept? Buki says everyone should have someone in their lives who has their best interest in mind and will be straight with them when they need it. Shuku for you, Buki, my love. Definitely. A lot of us are looking for people to blow smoke up the crack of our ass so we can feel better. One of my best things that I love lately is that I get truth. You know, I want to live in truth. So I love it when my friends call me and say, you see, that thing where you post is funny, but it's discriminatory. But that thing where you post is not funny, it's stupid, self. Just because you come to me and tell me that doesn't mean that I will do it or I won't do it again. You understand? Good morning, Andy. But we have boundaries set up. Good morning, darling. We have boundaries set up so that it does not affect, so that we don't come back and trip over the same ish. I have this bad habit of bringing everybody home. My dad used to do it. Anybody that my father met that needed to go to school, that needed money to do this, my dad would jump in. Boga, bring him home. We lived in a huge house. So I started to collect people as well. Pets, I call them. Not pets as in dogs and cats, but human beings. And I'll bring everybody home. In the past 5 years, nobody even knows where I live. Unless you're really, really close. Because what I realized is, when you start to bring people into your immediate space, they forget who they are to you. So I would meet people at coffee shops now and they all think I'm a snob and I don't really care because it's not about you, it's about me now. Remember that Diana Ross song? It's my turn to be what I can be. I hope you'll understand. This time's just for me because it's my turn. Everybody, that should be your national anthem. I'm going to post the song so you can listen to the lyrics. You should really, really, really listen to the lyrics. And then she has, Diana Ross is my queen. Oh, I thought I was going to marry her one time, but I'm going to let her go because I found my queen. At one point in my life, anybody that needed help was there and I was the bottom of the barrel. People will be coming from London, they'll stay in my house a month, 2 months. When it's time to go to anywhere, they won't reciprocate. I think that's the Oyinbo word I forget. You have to start to have boundaries. And we have to start to have boundaries and start to understand that there are people that are out there for themselves and themselves alone. When you're in a relationship that's not flowing like this. Friendship. When I talk about relationships, people are thinking, oh, love ships. No. We're not talking about love ships. I'm talking about friendship, childship, workship, any freaking kind of ship. I worked with a person that would call me at 3 a.m. in the morning for advice because she knows I wake up at 3 a.m. to pray and meditate. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't have boundaries. People will call me at weird hours of the day for advice. No boundaries. One of the boundaries that I created lately, because I have like 400 freaking people in my inbox lately, is post everywhere. If you have questions or you would like to talk to me, email me at mojiscreativeworld@gmail.com. Everybody should not have access to my time and my minutes. When will I have time for my family or my business? If I'm on Facebook talking to every yin yang all day long. My desire for success, to run a successful real estate business, to run a successful life, to run a successful family, to run a successful charity organization is so strong these days that I'm no longer willing, and you shouldn't be either, to allow people to trip you or guilt you into using you, into being around you, into using you as a doormat or a stepping stool to get where they need to get. Heavenly Father, I ask you not to allow my flesh to come into this conversation. Use me, O Lord. Speak through me. It's time that we start to have boundaries. If you work for me, you work for me. I don't have to bring you home. If you don't work for me, if I see you and I shouldn't feel sorry for you and shag you too. Some people think it's only fair now. I shouldn't. It should not be part of the prerequisite. I shouldn't have, you have a destiny that might be different from mine. Your purpose might be aligned with mine and we get to pull each other up. But you should not allow people to suck you dry. And a lot of us do that. We feel guilty, Simi. We feel guilty because we are doing well and they're not. Boundaries. Is different from yours. My star is different from yours. There's a million stars in the sky at night and they're all shining. Nobody's standing on top of each other. They have boundaries. They have their own perimeters. So they shine brightly like a mother sucker. But when you don't have boundaries, when you allow every Tom, Dick and Jones to suck from your nipple like Nigeria does, when you allow, look at Nigeria, I'm going to use Nigeria, we don't have boundaries. They say stop at the red light. We go, boom, and then the cop stops. We have to bribe him. And we talk about Nigeria as a bad place when we're the ones that are bad. Instead of us all to come together and do things for our country, you know, what we do is, we do for ourselves, we do for our cousins, we do for our dogs, our cats. We're all living in Oyo. All of us are living in Oyo on our own. If we had boundaries, we could create a cooperative. On Iwo Road, huge street. My aunt used to have a bakery there. Huge family bakery was there. Huge road, Iwo Road, from one end of Ibadan to the other. And one more, Iwo Road. All right? We all go. How about 12 people on this block say, this road na Jagbajantis. So that's my new favorite word, Jagbajantis. This, and I know it's not mine. I didn't make it up. I stole it. I don't even remember. It just popped in my head one day because I remembered it. This road is horrible. How about 12 of us that own these $1 million houses in this area? How about we get together and tar the road? We can't do that because we don't have boundaries. Because we don't have boundaries, we think everybody's out to cheat us. Everybody else is out to get us. When you go for a job interview, they give you a job description. They hand you the job description and they say, hey, Miriam, you want to be the vice president of operations. These are your duties. And they give it to you and you sign the contract, Abby. I know. When I go to a buyer, I give them a disclosure. Good morning, Harrison. I give them a disclosure that says that I work for them and my fiduciary is to them. And then I make sure that they sign the contract, which is a disclosure form. Boundaries. Everything in my business life has boundaries. We have to move that into our personal life. Even when you're dating somebody, they should have boundaries. They should know who they are in your life. They should know where you stand. They should know where they stand. Now, let's take that a little bit further and talk about desire for successful businesses and a personal life. I work in a business where people feel like they can call me at 2 a.m. in the morning. What I started to do was shut off my business phone at 9 p.m. Boom, boundaries. Leave your message, I'll call you in the morning. Because let me know I need a life. Because if you're calling me at 9 p.m. at night, what time do I have to lay down with my partner? If you're calling me at 3 a.m. in the morning, what time do I have to shag my mate? Boundaries. A lot of us work in freelance and we bring our work home. Even at work, if you look at my desk at the moment, there's paperwork, there's files, there's things I'm trying to do, there's deals I'm trying to negotiate. 5 deals in a week I'm trying to negotiate. So, how do I get these things done? I set a timeline. Between 12 and 2 p.m., I don't talk to anybody unless it's Jesus Christ and my children. Wait, that's not true. I don't talk to anybody unless it's my children. Actually, Jesus Christ first, my children, my partner. That's it in my personal life between 12 and 2 because that's when I chase my files to the closing table. Boundaries. You have to start to block things out if you want things done. If you're like me and you have different gifts from God. I make jewelry. There has to be a time that I allocate for that. When people place their orders on Solar Stones on Facebook, I'm plugging. If you go to Solar Stones and you place an order, I have a particular day that I choose every week to make jewelry and make your supplies and ship them off to you. Boundaries. Same thing should happen in your life. Miriam says you can call me and I don't pick up after 8:30 p.m. and you better not call me before 8 a.m. Shuku for you. Boundaries. We have to start to understand that the way the world is at the moment, we live in a very, very microwave, instant gratification world. And that's the biggest problem that we have. You want to hit something up in the olden days, you put it on the, like those of us that grew up in I was born in 64. So for those of us that grew up before all this microwave and all that stuff, I'm old school. I want water. You plug the kettle in and you let it boil slowly. You're having a relationship, you communicate. You don't text all day. Boundaries. We like slow and easy. When you're shagging too, people want to go, let's go. And then they start reading. You have to carve out time so that you can be present in your life. So that you can be present in your relationship. I'm learning something new. Let me tell you something. I'm talking to my Yahoo the other day. And I have 3 phones. One for the real African LGBTQ, which is a hotline for people that are distressed and they're suffering in pain and whatever. But we have that hotline that I carry everywhere in case somebody is having a nervous breakdown. I can pick up the phone. I have my personal phone. Then I have my real estate phone. And I'm on Skype talking to my Yahoo. And I'm still on 3 phones. And she's telling me something I cannot be there. I'm not processing the information too fast enough because the stuff that she's talking to me about, I can't grasp it because I'm doing 3 other things. We have to create boundaries. And then a lot of us, we're wondering why our relationships don't work. How is it going to work? If my son is speaking to me about something important to him and I'm texting clients and I'm doing this, you have to give to Caesar what is Caesar's. We have to start to create boundaries. When my son is now speaking to me, I putting my phone down. I didn't learn that on my own. No. My 15-year-old son called me out on it. Mom, you're never here. And I'm like, what? I work from home. What do you mean I'm never here? In truth, I'm never here. I'm everywhere but here. So I started to put my phone down. So now when we go to eat, we all put our phone on a table away from the dining table. Now I'm learning, difficult sometimes. The only way to communicate with my Yahoo is to put the phones away when I'm talking to her. So that I can focus. That's creating boundaries. So that I don't allow, when you have boundaries, the devil can't even come in, you know that, right? Because the devil comes, he's not this monster that comes in with horns and fires coming out of her mouth or his mouth. The devil is you and I. Hold on, Daddy Jimmy, but that's my truth. The devil is you and I. Nobody else. So even in me, sometimes I call the devil in me Mujikwa. That's that 9-year-old child that comes out and is upset and throws tantrums and deletes and blocks people when they piss her off. Somebody that was very nice to me, by the way, boundaries. Somebody that was always on my thread, that was always pushing my brand and all that stuff. One day, posted on his page how LGBTQ people, I don't remember his exact words, something to the point of we're crazy or we're going to hell and on his page. This is the person that pushes my brand. And you know, I'm LGBT. In the past, I would have left him on my page. Boundaries. I deleted and blocked. Because what I realized is, a lot of people hang out with you and I. Because they know you got magic. Because they know you have magic. So they will hang out with you. And when I say magic, I don't mean voodoo or juju. You have this thing about you that, like a light bulb, you attract people and things. Problem with a light bulb, if you've ever lived in a village, and I have, I used to go to Ijero Ekiti. In the olden days, and this is going to sound crazy, people hang out with you because your light is shining through. And God, you're not the one that gave yourself that light, so don't get it twisted and let your head get big. People hang out with you because you have light in you. And that light attracts something, whatever it is that it attracts. Let me give you this analogy. In the village, I remember my dad's house had electric. A lot of people did not have electric. So a lot of people would come at night and sit outside the porch. And there was this one light bulb I can never forget. And this one light bulb, once the light goes on, past it, they don't turn it on all day because my generator, my father was frugal like me. They would turn on this generator and the light bulb will come on. And then you'll see all these insects. There will be termites, there will be flies, there will be bees, there will be all kinds of stuff just come in because the light is there. But one thing I realized when I sat down and I closed my eyes and I pictured. Remember, I'm always talking about saving memories so that you can go there and pull it out to make you feel good. So I pulled out that one memory from where, I don't know. But then I saw all these bugs. There were bees, there were locusts. There was, remember the termites that they used to fry? You put a bucket under and the termites will fall inside from the light bulb inside that bucket. There were those too. And then I remember one of my elders, my aunt or my grandmother, I don't even remember what they were. They would pick up that bucket. They would take that termite and go and stir fry it and slap some pepper on it and we eat that thing. If you ask me to eat it today, I'll say hell no. But back then, I ate it too. But it wasn't everything that came to the light that they stir fried. Follow me, I'm a foodie. If I lose you, tell me. So it's not everybody that comes into our life that deserves a place, a chair, a seat in our lives. It's not everybody that comes into our lives that's supposed to stay either. You have to determine who deserves a chair in your life. Esun shuku for you, Jumoke. See, when the light goes on in the village in Ijero, all kinds of bugs will come flying like this all around it. All kinds of bugs. The only one that they took and stir-fried was Esun. They will put pepper, well, stir-fried, make it nice and dry, and they give me gari and I will eat that thing as butter as I was. But it wasn't every bug that they took. They didn't take the flies. They didn't take the locust. They didn't take the this. They didn't take the... There was other flies that had crazy-ass colors and crazy-ass wings. There was one that had light in it. Oh my God, I just went back almost 40 years. They didn't take all of that and stir-fry it. So why is it that when the universe brings us everybody into our lives, we feel like we should receive them? Because people make us feel guilty and they say we're snobs. But if you want to fly high, you can't have dead birds or broken birds hanging to your wings. Boundaries. Jumoke, boundaries. It's okay for people to say you're a snob. It's okay for people to say, you know who you are. Jesus Christ walked on this earth in sandals by himself. Look how many lives he touched. And he didn't do it by himself. Oh, he had the guy that killed somebody. He had a fisherman. He didn't have And his will was done. His purpose was fulfilled on this earth. The times that he was able to really grow the most was when he had a clear vision of who he was after 40 days and 40 nights by himself in the wilderness. Boundaries. He could have brought his disciples. He could have brought his fans. He didn't. He was there by himself. What makes us think that we need everybody? You know what I did today? I did something very spectacular to me. To you guys, it's nothing. To me, I've been told that I'm not, you know, when you're good looking, when your packaging is okay, people discount you. They think you have no brain cells. So for a long time, I've been told that I can't do this and I can't do that and you're not good at this. So I've always said when it comes to technology, I'm not good. So I would hire people for those things. Lately, I've been daring. I've been doing some crazy stuff. You're thinking, yeah, she bungee jumped. I didn't bungee jump here too. I've been doing some amazingly crazy things. Ask me what those crazy things are. I need you to give me some heart. Good morning, Mr. Walisa Ekarasa. I've been doing some crazy things. I scheduled my own show. You're thinking, and then what? I've never done that. I've paid people to do that shit. I paid somebody to go online and schedule my Real LGBT show. I did it myself. It took me 3 hours. I fumbled. I made mistakes. I had to start over 10 times. Dedication to success. Boundaries. And even then, I still didn't know. There was one little part that I didn't know how to figure out. And I made phone calls. I Googled. Google and I are best friends. That chick is available 24/7. I shall only Google. If you touch her like this, she'll open up the universe to you. There's nothing we can't do if we just create boundaries. Stop allowing people to bring you down. Stop allowing people to use you. Stop allowing people to suck your light and your chi out of you. You and I, that is. Boundaries. Let's take it into family life. For those of you that are going through a divorce, and because that man is your husband or that woman was your wife and she thinks she has a right to the front, to your dining table, cut her off. Cut him off. The only thing that connects me and my ex by the umbilical is the umbilical cord of 2 kids. My ex-husband, that is. That's it. That's all I owe him. Boundaries. I used to think everybody just was sincere and they loved me and they're nice and, you know, I want the best for everybody. Moji is going into that selfish mood lately. Because the more you love yourself, the more you realize that you need love too. And the more you realize that you need love, the more you love yourself from the inside out. You'll start to attract amazing people into your life. But here's the problem that a lot of us don't get. See? You want to go up, right? God is an amazing God. I tell you, everything that starts and stops with God for me. You want to go up. You want to be successful. You want to do the right things. You want. Yin and yang. Every time you want, you have to give up. For you to win, you gotta lose. Every time you want to be thin and look fabulous in a dress, you can't stuff your mouth up. Boundaries. Every time I get up and I go to the gym and I'm in pain and I'm pumping iron, but I don't want to look like Hercules. So there's a special way I have to pump the iron so that my shoulders are popping. When I do this, you can see the definition, but I don't want to look like He-Man 24/7. So boundaries. I can't be pumping iron like John next door that wants to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Boundaries. So I do my push-up. And I can't just do this because I have to do, the pain is going to rip from here. And it's going to build the muscles here. Boundaries. You have to be able to isolate which part of your body. This is why I love to exercise, because my brain works better. You have to be able to isolate which part of your body you're working at that point and time. You have to be able to accept the pain, growing pains. Because every time I push and I want this to grow, it will tear. And that's when those definitions come in. And that's when I pow every day. That's why I show off my shoulders and not my tummy. Seriously? There's no gain without pain. But once we start to create boundary now eliminates a lot of fear. Because fear and boundaries, they work hand in hand. A lot of us don't create boundaries because we're afraid of what would happen. We're afraid of what people would say. We're afraid of how people would treat us. We're afraid of how people would look at us. The Queen of England is sitting high and mighty. I repeat. The Queen of England is sitting high and mighty, collecting all that. If that woman does not get a penny again for the rest of her life, 10 generations deep, they will be wealthy. But yet, she gets up and she goes and does her thing every day. She has boundaries. You can't just walk up to, even Donald Trump, as loose as a cannon as he is, you can't just walk up to him and shake his hand. He has boundaries. To see my dentist, I have to make an appointment. Boundaries. Why then are we wide open and everybody, every Tom, Dick and Jones just stops by? Because we're all on Facebook. Why then do we think everybody has a right to just pop into your living room and do whatever they want? Because it's free. But Zuckerberg, yeah, Bikilolo, J. Mark gave you the right to make something public or private. Thank you, Buki. Boundaries. That's the topic of the day. Fear of failure makes us not do things. Fear of failing in a relationship. A lot of you women are sitting down at home eating bonbons and getting chunky but funky because you're scared to go out there and love. You're scared to accept love. You're scared to receive love. You're repelling love because you're afraid of being hurt. Seriously, you need to stop. There's no success without risk. If you don't jump in the water, you can't put your foot 1/3 into the water. You can't. A lot of you guys, a lot of us, and I say us. See, I come up with all these brilliant ideas and I go to people and I say, can we do this? Because I don't have the money to do it. Can we do this? Can I do this with you? Can I do this? Brilliant ideas. I take it to Oyinbo people, they fly with it and become, I take it to my Nigerian people and they're afraid because they've been jacked before. But I'm not a Nigerian, I'm a Nigerian. I know people are going to freak out and say, what the hell? Yeah, I'm not a Nigerian. No. I am a Nigerian. My uncle, Mr. Wale Ade, is a Nigerian. He's been in this country for hundreds of years. He's hung out with Akatas, Oyinbo and all that. Buki is a Nigerian. She's hung out with other people. There's a lot of people on this line that are Nigerians. They come from good homes. They understand the concept. They're very well educated. And I'm not saying a Nigerian has to be educated. Though. And education is not always book, by the way, to me. So when I call you educated, I could care less if you have a four-pool PhD or you just graduated high school. People that are aware of their power and who they are and what is going on around the world and are compassionate to me are educated people. Those are Nigerians. And I don't care if you're American, black, white, green, we all have the same issues. We don't trust each other. The fear of failure. The fear, like I come on my show and I shout people out all day. I shout out Humble Prince just now. He has a TV show, a TV show on YouTube or something like that. I've been a guest on his radio show. I shout people out because I know who I am. If you tell your band law, because then only stop it, only delay, but they can't stop you. Fear stops us from working together. Fear. See, if you have boundaries, there will be nothing to be afraid of. If you can't jump into a relationship and allow somebody to love you when it feels right, how are you going to be happy? When somebody is loving on you and you don't accept it. Like, I tell this story all the time about how, somebody had sent, I said I needed a car and somebody random on Facebook had sent money to a Mercedes. And I was like, no, magic, God forbid. But I'd been praying for weeks. I'd been fasting 1 week a month for God to open my way, for God to send me helpers. And when the helpers come, oh no, he wants my sushi. Oh no, she wants my sushi, so I won't do it. But wait a minute. You've been praying and you've been fasting. God doesn't come down himself to do these things himself. A lot of you guys are sitting there going, God, open my way. And somebody will come and bring you an idea. I'm not saying take every idea. I'm saying tell them to give you time to pray. Don't be afraid to go into your... Take the time to pray for the power of discernment. And stop being afraid. God doesn't come down here and do things himself. And when you decide to go into business with anybody, I don't care if it's your husband, your mother, your father, your dog, your cat, draw up a contract. Create boundaries. So everybody knows what they're responsible for. And you know what you're responsible for. So that if there's anybody fumbling, you can bring out the contract and say, hey, this and this and this is what you're to do. And when they're crossing the line, you can say, hey, Bobo, this is what you are to do. Boundaries. When you are not afraid, you start to create boundaries. When you live in fear, you do not create boundaries. Boundaries. A lot of us, we're so afraid that we create safety nets. A lot of you guys are in relationships and you keep your exes on pulse. So you can call them once in a while when the bobo on scene is pissing you off. Or when the girl is like ticking you off. Oh honey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm still in a relationship. And then you talk for 2-3 hours. Oshi ni oshi. Nonsense and ingredient. Lesbians do that shit. We break up with people, but we don't really break up with them. It takes like 8 years to break up with lesbians. You know, the way they do it, let me tell you, women in general, we're like that. Okay, you're no longer my friend. You're no longer my lover, but you're my best friend. Seriously, I did. So we hang out. And we hang out. And we start being friends. But you forgot, that person is still in love with you. So they don't wish you well in your relationship. Every time you're talking to her about your problems, she's praying. Ọlọ́run ẹlẹ́dàá mi, Ọlọ́run Jehovah, Jesus Christ, Michael mímọ́, bá mi dálé yẹn rú so that baby I lè padà. In the meantime, you're telling them your secrets. We do that, women. We do that. We women will call a guy that fancies us, that likes us, that wants to marry you, that wants to date you, but you already know it's not possible. Because you don't feel that way about them. You like them a lot, but they're not the one for you. But you will keep them right there, sitting in the corner for backup. Why? Fear of commitment. Fear of being alone. Fear creates no boundaries. When you're fearless, when you become fearless, you start to create boundaries. When you become fearless, you start to grow. When you become fearless, you start to fly. When you create boundaries, your business starts to grow. Boundaries. I'm a realtor. Some heifer called me the other day and said, Moji, Star Moji, how are you? I said, great. She tells me what she wants to buy. I said, you can't afford it. She goes, how about you give me your commission? You give me your commission. I mean, I've done it before. And I know she knows the person I did it for. Even the person I did it for way back then did not deserve it. Didn't. But because I didn't have boundaries in those days, I thought I could save the world. Captain Save a Ho. That's my name. I thought I could save the world. And I did it on Facebook too, no boundaries. I wouldn't pay my rent and I'll be helping people pay theirs on Facebook because they're crying, but mine is not paid. Boundaries. This effort says, Auntie Moji, how about we take your commission and use it towards our closing costs? Really? And then what? So when I said to her, when you go to work and your boss is having a bad week or month or decade, what do? You donate your check to him every time. She went quiet. So what I did was I gave her a name and number of another realtor to go and help her, because you won't go to an Oyibo man now and say, give me your check so I can buy my house. Boundaries. We continue to repeat the same thing and expect different results. And I'm guilty of that. Guilty, guilty, guilty. And I assure you, like I told my loved ones, and I'm sharing this with you on purpose. I told my loved ones the other day, I said to all of them, I now write vows to my people. I wrote my vows to my children. I promise to be present. I promise not to allow everybody into our space anymore. Not that I won't do my videos, or I'm still doing my videos. You know, I like to take pictures. I was one of those kids that I have maybe 5 pictures of me from age 0 to maybe like 16 when I was modeling. So I'm obsessed with pictures. We all come with our luggages. That's one of mine. I write vows to everybody in my life. I wrote a vow for my Yahoo. Boundaries, creating boundaries. I call them vows, but they're really creating boundaries. Guidelines. Shh, don't tell her. Boundaries are so very important for all of us to know how to play our position. When you're on a soccer team, Wendy, good morning. When you're on a football team, the linebacker knows his job. The one to man ball, I hate soccer. I hate football because they're all fat men in tights. Ew, ugly. But seriously speaking, everybody knows their position. Same thing when you're playing soccer. Everybody knows who's who. The goalie knows I'm the goalie. I can't go out there and start running because the house post will be empty. In your relationship, in a man to woman relationship, it's not who makes the money that's the goalie. It's the head. It's not who makes the money. It's who you guys negotiate. Create boundaries. Respect each other. And make sure that even if it's a woman to woman dynamic, people are always going, who's the man of the relationship? How the hell am I in a relationship with a woman? And you're asking me who's the man of my relationship? Are you crazy? Kilo Shein? I have a husband. Hersband. You're asking me who's the man. There's no such thing. You have to figure out who has the energy to lead. It doesn't make me a man. I'm good with screwdrivers. I'm good with building a house. My partner is not. So it's not the man that's the head of the family is what I'm trying to get to. Dancing around the bush. And once you've determined to respect, you have to respect each other. Respect, boundaries create respect. My dog knows if he pees in the kitchen. Chase knows, and he's only 6 months old. If he pees in the kitchen, I'm going to stick his nose in the thing and say, bad boy. Not good. Boundaries. Boundaries without physical shackles. That's what Moji is talking about. Knowing when to hold on. Knowing when to let go is so very important. A lot of us are holding on to luggages that we're not letting go of out of fear. And because we never created boundaries to begin with. Our business, your secretary, if she's talking to you any which way she wants to, it's because you don't have boundaries. In my old real estate office, I realized I didn't have any boundaries with my boss. I treated her like my sister. I treated her like my best friend. I treated her like everything. And to her, I was just another goddamn employee that she was using to build her business. And the day she decided to flick me off like booger on her nose, she did, and I was hurt. I shouldn't have been. I didn't have boundaries. So now moving forward, I learned to create boundaries. Moving forward, I will create boundaries. Are you going to create boundaries? Or are you going to continue to do the same thing and expect different results? Ibuforo, yes, I have a husband. My husband gave me that. Chocolate diamonds. Yes, I do have a husband. Hersband. Any other questions? Buki says, keep reminding yourself that each failure is another stepping stone to the road to success or recovery. Yes. Problem is a lot of us are not brave enough to face our fears. I often post, behind your greatest fear is your promised land. The very thing that scares you the most, I swear to God, once you face that fear, that's what's going to explode you to your promised land. It's going to propel you. When I was afraid of people finding out that I was LGBT, I could not be doing, I was a miomot. My joke was, I'll sit here and start talking to you. For what? I'll hide behind the keyboard though. Yes. I'll hide behind the keyboard. Behind your greatest fear, I've always posted it. If you've been on my page more than a year, you'll see it. Behind your greatest fear lies your promised land. To get to your promised land, you have to have boundaries. You can't be going to Sokoto and go to Ibadan first and go to Lagos and then go to this and go to Ota. When you can just take a straight direct line. A lot of us are too afraid to face our problems, face our issues, face our partners, face our lovers, have the most difficult conversations. Even if you cry, you still gotta have that conversation. You have to. Fear stops us all from making boundaries. Fear of success stops us from going to the next level. You can't fly with dead beats on your shoulders. If you look at my timeline lately, a lot of people are falling off. If you look at my timeline lately, a lot of people are missing. And I have cried. But I cried to purge my spirit, to purge my soul. It doesn't mean that I don't like or love these people, but I know that in life, to get to the next stage, when I pass a class, some people can't go with me. It's the same thing as high school. When I go to college, all my high school graduate mates did not come with me to the United States. Actually, as a matter of fact, nobody came with me. And I'm still standing. Not only am I standing, I'm looking amazing. I'm feeling amazing. Because it gets to a level in life that you will realize that some people will come with you. Some people will come with you because they're destined to be with you and they choose. Because there's a lot of people that are destined to be with you. Their purpose is to be with you. Some people are created to help Oprah to get where she's going. Like that white woman that's her production manager. 24 years they've been together. 24 years. People like Gail have been with Oprah forever. But they're carrying their weight. They're not deadbeats. They're bringing value to the table. So anybody that's a hanger on, they're beginning to fall off. The only people that are staying, and I'm not saying this so people can go, oh, Moji, who do you think you are? I'm God's child. That's who I think I am. And I see clearly now. Because I'm brave enough to open my eyes and accept people that are supposed to be there, that we can grow together. I no longer have the need to be curing people when I have a bruise or a gash in my face. Boundaries and fear. Sometimes they're married. But once you're able to divorce the two, then and only then can you grow. I went to a church 3 weeks ago. They welcomed me. I danced balongo. I danced. Uncle Ade, Wole Ade invited me to his church. I had a great time because that's what I go to church for. I pray and fast in my own house. And I haven't been back because one of the pastors saw my video where I was talking about fuck Buhari. And I was embarrassed. And I'm going to try it again because I love music. Fear and boundaries, they go hand in hand. Are you going to allow fear to rule you so you don't create boundaries? Or are you going to create boundaries and use the fear as a stepping stone to where you're going? If you're doing something and you're not scared, it's not good though. I'm telling you right now. When I started Moji's World, I had less than $300 to my pocket. And I was afraid. I was scared shitless. But the universe brought it all together. Nothing goes for nothing. You gotta jump. Stop sitting on the ledge. Create boundaries around your businesses, around your friends, around your family. Stop allowing everybody to come to you. Like the Asun that I mentioned earlier. As a light, a lot of flies and bugs and insects, mosquito, name it, they will come to you. But only the Asun is worth frying to eat. We are all God's children. We all have a purpose for our life. And somebody said to me yesterday, why do you go on Facebook Live and talk about things and yourself and your life? So people can curse you out, so they can abuse you. I said, you know, I've been staying away from Periscope because Periscope is a bigger scale. And people are crazy, they're wild. At least on Facebook, I can delete and block. Once I go Periscope, Egbe go nako. After I had that conversation with that person, I realized Periscope is the place for me to go. All I have to do is create boundaries. So if you guys have Periscope, please go sign up and look for my page, Mojisola Percy, because starting next week coming, today is Tuesday, the whole of next week coming, I'm not available. I'm having surgery on Monday. I'll be down for a whole week. But when I come back, I'm coming back with a bang. I'm no longer allowing fear to rule my life. Fear of being labeled gay, fear of not being able to go home to Nigeria, fear of not having family. I already don't have family, but I have family. Family is who loves you, not the people that share the same blood as you. And I have Miriam, I have Buki, I have a lot of people that are my family. I have Bolanle Shobawale that's flying in for my engagement party. That's family. So be bold, be daring, create boundaries. Stop allowing people to govern you. Start to pick the people that you're allowed to sow in you, including me. Because some days I'm just shooting shit. I'm just spitting nonsense. And some days I come from the spirit and I come from the soul. I have a friend that we clash once in a while, but I call him my big brother and I respect a lot. His name is Sam Homer. Don't go after him or he's already married though. I beg. Handsome guy, married to an amazing, brilliant woman. Let me tell you, there was a day I was feeling low and my spirit was all over the place because people were coming at me left, right and center because I just said I'm gay and I'm marrying a woman. Abomination. Oh my God. Yeah. I didn't even inbox him. He reached out to me. And that's what family is. You don't have to talk to people every day. You have to have your boundaries. I know on certain days I can't call him because those are the days for his wife, him and his wife. I know on certain days, certain times I can't call him because he's doing this. Everybody knows me. 5:30 a.m. I'm getting up. I'm taking my chunky but funky self to the gym. Not to lose weight, but to get the stress out of my life. When God calls you for a purpose, when God gives you an idea, when God gives you a business idea to help other people, He will bring you people that will sow in you. He will bring you people that will water you. He will bring people that will invest in you. When God says it's time to leave that relationship and you don't leave, you start suffering and saying your mother's family is doing you, your father's family is doing you. No, you're doing yourself. I'm sorry, you are. Create boundaries. And use your fear to propel you. Do not allow your fear to rule you. I was talking to a guy that I used to call I called him my coach. He wasn't really my coach, but I like to label people. But I called him my coach. And he kept pounding on me how the Bible says you're going to hell, how you have to repent and change. Am I going to change being a woman that loves women too? How do you change that? It's like somebody saying, change from being black. I can bleach my skin, but inside I'm still black. I can choose not to be with women, but inside I will die. This particular person used to say, eventually, the universe created a way that we had to separate because I was too afraid to leave. I was a slave mentally to this person. Stop allowing fear to rule you. Stop allowing the devil within you to stop you from growing. Create boundaries. Healthy boundaries. Once you do that, I am realizing at more than half of a century, because Africans were not taught how to create boundaries. Because your friend is here, all of a sudden you guys have to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed at 9 o'clock. If you think you're going to come to my house and hang out at 8 o'clock, you don't chop bottle. I have learned how to create boundaries, and that's why my skin looks the way it does. Beautiful, succulent, at 52. Boundaries. Go out there and create boundaries for you and your family. Create a network of people around you that would uplift you, that need you, that love you, that want you in their lives. Stop forcing yourself into situations and places that you're not needed. I did that for years. I didn't have a pot to piss in and I kept giving from empty. Love yourself a little bit more and allow and accept love Yeah, baby. Love yourself a little bit more and allow yourself to receive and accept love. Love is my religion. So today I ask you, I don't care if you're white, black, green, or purple, go out there today. Sprinkle some love on everybody you meet. Say hi to the mailman, say hi to the butcher, say hello. How are you? Happy holidays to everybody you run into. Because that 30 seconds that you smiled at his soul, at his spirit, might possibly change their lives. Go out there today. As I ask you each day, go and sprinkle some love on the universe. Love is my religion, and that's what I preach and practice. My name is Mojisola Percy. I speak power into truth with a very unique voice. If you liked what you heard today, and you have some things you'd like to talk about, do me a favor, inbox me on Facebook or email me at breakfastwithmoji@gmail.com. Give me topics to talk about, because people, I too need to hear from you. Make it a two-way street, folks. Continue to talk on this page, and I'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday, 5:30 a.m. We're going to be meditating. We have to implement meditation into our chi in order to reprogram our brain cells. And then 10 a.m., breakfast emoji tomorrow is going to be fun. I'll see you guys tomorrow. May all our days be filled with blessings and grace. And may we all find love. Love of self first, and love everywhere we go. May the light of God continue to shine in and around you and yours, so that we can all go out there and light the path of others. Namaste.